Central Kentucky veteran has dedicated much of his life to helping others, and now he's needing some help himself.
2 years ago, WKYT Investigates first introduced you to Brian Amburgey, the Winchester man advocating for fellow veterans exposed to toxic water at Camp Lejeune.
But his own health is now declining. WKYT's Garrett Weimer reports in this WKYT Investigates update.
You all right over there?
Yeah. It's not a cliche.
I gotta stop for a minute.
Brian Amburgey is fighting an uphill battle.
Now he's lucky to walk 5 feet.
Health problems are catching up with Amburgey, a Marine veteran exposed years ago to Camp Lejeune's toxic water. From protests to petitions, Amburgey dedicated the last decade of his life.
We feel like we're getting treated as second-class citizens.
To calling on Congress for action and reaching his fellow veterans.
When we started this years ago, we never thought that today, almost a year after the bill was signed into law, that we would be in the same position that people that we've been trying to help.
Amburgey was at the White House when President Joe Biden signed into law the Honoring Our Pact Act, which includes language from the Camp Lejeune Justice Act. That was August 10th, the same day Amburgey says he started noticing his own health issues.
Garrett, when you done my first story, all I had was just a bottle for allergies, and now that's my breakfast and dinner every day.
This is the antifungal.
He takes more than a dozen different medications and vitamins daily as he deals with emphysema, COPD, and potential lung cancer. None of those are conditions presumed to be connected to Camp Lejeune service, but records show they have been found to be service-connected in some veterans. Lung cancer is one of 15 conditions related to Camp Lejeune covered by VA healthcare without a copay. Now Amburgey says he's also fighting a lung infection caused by mold found in the ductwork of their mobile home. Repairs, they say, would cost more than it's worth. Instead, they moved out.
Come in if you want to, Garrett.
Lately, they had been staying here in a camper at the Red River Boat Dock and Campground, in between their many hospital stays and out-of-town doctor visits.
And it's just tough, you know, not be able to do anything, and knowing that lost everything we'd worked so hard for.
Not only do they now find themselves in a tight spot financially,
I've went from being upset to angry to I'm just bitter at how our system is.
They're also seeing firsthand the need for what they fought for all these years, frustrated with the VA over repeated difficulties, denials, and delays.
They say they're there for the veterans. They're there to let the veteran die, is what they're there for.
That's how you feel?
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
They're not there to help us.
And they've learned there's still work to do.
I'm not going to quit fighting for my fellow veterans and their families till everybody gets justice.
Even as he fights his own battle, Amburgey refuses to leave anyone behind. In Clark County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
The Winchester VFW Post and Auxiliary recently raised money for the Amburgeys. Right now, they're using that money to rent a townhouse to stay in. They've also set up a GoFundMe, and they're looking at some other fundraisers in the works to help them. We have all that information right now in this story over on our website at WKYT.com.